So the main reason I wanted to see if Bob Trevino likes it wasn't even because it was an Oscar bait film. It's because of 2 stars in the movie. Both of their characters happen to be named Bob Trevino, and they are John Leguizamo and French Stewart. John Leguizamo, he doesn't get the really recognition that I personally think that he deserves, but he's just so underrated. And then there's French Stewart, who is best known for doing Third Rock from the Sun. And in all honesty, what other great films has he really ever done? How many great performances in front of the camera has he ever done? I know that Stewart has done quite a few acclaimed stage performances, but how many of those have actually been captured for camera, right? Bob Trevino Likes It is one of those social media films that it's not like The Social Network or like Blackberry, but it's all about connecting to people. It's also about what makes a family a family. Mainly fathers, and the whole father sort of subgenre, I guess you could say, even in cinema. That's been a very kind of a sticky subject because it can go really well or really bad. And personally, to me, I do think that the way Bob Trevino Likes It tackles the subject is just about as good as the Royal Tenenbaums or The Great Santini, or even a Yasujiro Ozu film, and Akira Kurosawa, all that kind of stuff. Ingmar Bergman. Am I kind of exaggerating with giving this particular film that high of praise? I don't think so. I think like maybe this movie isn't as good as an Ozu best or as good as a Bergman best, but it's still in that same realm. I'm not sure how accurate it is to the real thing, but the movie it is based on a true story. This girl named Lily. She's in her mid-20s. She doesn't have a college education, but she does have a pretty decent paying job as a live-in maid, a live-in house sitter, because the woman that she cleans for, only a little bit older than her, is a paraplegic. Her mother left when she was really, really young, and her father, whose name is Bob Trevino, is played graciously in the movie by French Stewart, is a total reject. He's immature. He's essentially trailer trash. And he's one of the worst dads that you could possibly think of. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if, there's instances of him hitting and physically abusing her. But he definitely is one of those fathers that does the mental stuff. And eventually, things just keep culminating until her father disowns her. Lily herself she's just one of those girls that really wants to be the best person around, be the kind of person that her father needs, be the kind of person that can save her father, I guess. When Bob essentially disowns her, he blocks her, and she tries to reconnect, and on Facebook she ends up finding this other man that just happens to have the same name as her. Now, those what happens on Facebook if people don't have a profile pic, that default pic? Well, that's what this other Bob Trevino guy has. And the other Bob Trevino is played by John Leguizamo. He's married and doesn't have any kids. He's a pretty successful man, and he is he's the father, the adult role model that Lily has been missing her entire life. When we see Lily and Bob bonding and getting to know each other, it's beautiful. It's such beautiful stuff. And when we get to know a little bit more about Leguizamo's Bob, it just makes so much more sense as to why Bob and Lily were meant to be together. Of course, there's not any sort of romance between them. Of course not. But the father-daughter sort of dynamics that Bob and Lily have, it's beautiful. It's so emotional. And what really surprised me with this, because it's almost like a lost art form, is that this is not manipulative. You know what I mean? Those overly schmaltzy sort of things where cheap and overly squishy, overly sentimental sort of things. No, if Bob Trevino likes it, there's not a false move here. What kind of a person in their 20s and 30s, or even just a teenager, clashes with their parents? How many people out there have actually had asshole parents? So you have the extreme sector, like the French Stewart people in real life. Plus, you have the ones that weren't quite as bad, but could still be related to. So yeah, the accessibility and the relatability that this movie provides, it's beautiful. Now, watching this, it kind of reminded me also of the very last scene in the highest rated Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode. You know, that "How Come You Don't Want Me, Man?" That's what this movie reminded me of. So, even though that particular episode of The Fresh Prince, would take commercials away, it's not even a half an hour. But, just imagine that one episode stretched into 100 minutes. You get this beautiful gem of a film. In 1996, Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune said, when reviewing Fargo way at the beginning of the year, you will not see a better film this year. And with Bob Trevino likes it, I'm going to say the same thing that Gene said back in 1996. You won't see a better film this year. But if I turn out to be wrong, so shoot me. I know that this movie kind of came out at a bad time for award seasons, because I do think that the girl who plays Lily and John Leguizamo, they should have won the Oscars for it, because they're that good in it. And French Stewart, worthy of nominations. If they won, that would have been great too. But in terms of actual wins, the girl who plays Lily and John Leguizamo would have been shoo-ins. I adore this film, and I had no expectations of loving it as much as I did. I feel like giving Bob Trevino Likes It 4 stars out of 4. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you again next time.